Let's dive in. Okay, here's the webinar that we're going to talk about today. We call these our express webinars. In other words, we should be getting through this in probably 30 to 45 minutes. We just want to deliver high quality information to you guys. How to scale your practice from 500,000 a year up to 1 million. Again, express webinar from Specialized Practice, my company. And we're a little Specialized Practice, a little bit different. Now we have some clients are on this call, some non-clients are on this call. It's valuable for everybody because this is information that is important to anybody that wants to grow, right? And wants to go to that next level in practice. SP is a little bit different from other consulting companies in that we have obviously our training and coaching program where we help doctors grow high-ticket niches like decompression, neuropathy, knee pain, plantar fasciitis. But we also have a full-fledged marketing agency, right, where we run paid media for decompression, neuropathy, knee pain, plantar fasciitis. Are you catching a trend here? This is what we specialize in, right? Just like you guys are specializing in these high-ticket niches, we specialize in, within chiropractic, which is its own little niche within healthcare. We go even farther down to just focus on these niches. Why? Because this is what I did and I just teach what I did. So there will be a Q&A at the end. Now, if you have questions between now and the end of the seminar or the webinar, feel free to put them in the chat and I will answer them as we go. But what are we going to cover today? 4 main topics here. 1, why doctors hit a ceiling around 45,000 a month. And so look, I'm throwing out 45,000 because that equals 500,000. You could be doing 40,000 a month. You could be doing 50,000 a month. But what do we do to break through to that next level? Number 2, how to determine the staffing that you will need at $100,000 a month. This is key. Guys, this is massive. If you don't have the right staff and team around you, you will not grow. And if you do grow, you'll come back to wherever you're at now because you have got to have the right team in place. Number 3, how to create a comprehensive marketing strategy that consistently generates high quality and high value new cash patients. And then finally, number 3, the 3 biggest mistakes doctors make when scaling up to 100K a month and how to avoid them, of course. Now, quickly about me, just so you know that, hey, at least this information is valid. This guy's done it before, built a 7-figure decompression practice. Actually, it was decompression and neuropathy. We did both, and we did some knee pain, and obviously we had chiro too, wrote 3 ebooks. We did 1 on neuropathy, 1 on decompression, and one on high-ticket niches. Obviously, founder of Specialized Practice. And from a marketing perspective, and this is why I started the agency, is because I had a lot of experience with marketing, right? So for our clinic and our 2 sister clinics, which collectively is known as Sound Pain Solutions and is still going on, we got a significant return on our investment, 7 to 1. And we all, we were in, about anywhere from 50 to 60,000 a month in paid media between the 3 clinics. And all the clinics did great. They're all 7-figure clinics. So full-time coaching consultant. And I have an extensive YouTube channel. You should check it out. Just search Dr. Vince Leone on YouTube. There's tons of training there. And, been on podcasts and NBC, and obviously we advertise all over Facebook and Instagram. It's, all about high ticket niches, right? How do we start them? How do we grow them? How do we give the support to them? Staff, systems, clinical, marketing, that is what we do. And I just finished up hosting with Hill DT, our Decompression Summit certification in Dallas. That was September 23rd. You can see me here. Do you see me? Right in the middle, right in the middle. But this was awesome. This was our first annual. The reason why I wanted to do this is because I will not name the other consulting company, but they host a boot camp or some summit, or I don't know. They don't call it a summit. I don't know what the heck they call it, but it's in Florida. That gives you a indication. Point being, it was all fluff. It was all fluff and sales. They would have their big time clients come up and, parade them. They had a football player, but then they had like 10% actual training. So we absolutely flipped that script to 90%, minimum 90% training, 10%. Yeah, we're going to offer, tell people about what we do and how we do it. And the sponsors got to talk a little bit, but it was mostly content. Again, 90% content, and it was awesome. We had 90 between doctors and staff, 90 people there, and we really had a great time. So there will be bonuses for those that stick around to the end. Sorry, guys, I just got off a plane, so I am dehydrated and I will be drinking water. My bad. But there are bonuses, so stick around till the end. These are the 3 books I wrote. Ultimate Guide to Neuropathy for Chiropractors, Riches and Niches, 6-figure decompression map. And so I'll show you how to get those if you stick around to the end. All right, you guys ready? How many people do we got on here? I can't even see. I got 5 people, great. Awesome. Okay, why doctors hit a ceiling around 45K a month and what to do to break through to the next level. So the practice that is around this number, and again, it doesn't have to be exactly 45K, right? It could be 40,000, it could be 50,000, but the point being is it's in that neighborhood. You're making around 500K a year. It's a successful traditional chiropractic practice. In other words, we're doing fairly high volume, fairly low fee, probably insurance based, but the doctor is good, right? And so they built up a practice. And so they have a strong chiropractic practice, but they've usually added one niche, right? So they've added decompression or neuropathy or something like that. And so it's supplemented, right? So we have mostly chiro. So the chiro is usually around 30 grand a month. And then they have another 10 to 20K maybe in with the niche, right? Whatever that may be. It's mostly through referrals, right? So they have a strong referral practice, which again is great, right? The fact that you have a strong referral practice means that you know what you're doing, you're delivering good results, patients are happy with you, they're sending their friends and family, so congratulations on that. But minimal advertising, right? Now you may be doing a little bit of Facebook, like $1,000 a month or something like that, but it's minimal advertising, and you typically don't have enough staff, right? And we're going to get into staff obviously in a second. So this is kind of what this practice looks like. And I haven't been in the industry 50 years, but I graduated in 2007 and, grew a 7-figure practice and then have been consulting since 2016. I started specialized practice as a side hustle, and then in 2018 went full time. So I've talked to a lot of doctors over the years. And so I've just got a really good sense. I mean, by the way, when I meet a doctor at a seminar or something, I can literally, usually within about 5 minutes, I know within about $5,000 a month how much they make. 20K a month, 30K a month, 40K a month. I can just tell, right? I ask a couple of key questions and it's pretty easy. So this has been my understanding. Now, this is a successful practice. I'm not saying it's not. So the fact that you've gotten to this, you're probably in the top, 30th percentile, right? 20, maybe 30, 20th percentile. You know what I'm saying? 1% is like 7 figures, right? So 100K a month, you're in the 1%. You're in the, like I said, maybe top 20% or something like that. So it's great. Great. Now, is this where now, if you're here, you probably want to go higher, right? That's the whole point of this webinar. So how do we go from here to 100K? So if you're here, great, you're motivated. But this is what this looks like. And if you stay with what we're looking at here, you will stay at this revenue level. Now, what do you do about it? How do you go, we're going to talk about some other things, but here's some key things. What do you do about it? One, it helps to add another niche. So in other words, if your chiro is doing 30 to 40,000 a month in collections, right? Mostly insurance based. Obviously there's some cash with copays and all that type of stuff. And you only have one niche, right? So say it's decompression. It is a little bit of a challenge to add 50K in decompression alone. Now, can you do it? Yes, you can. How do I know? Because I did it. But the point is it is easier to do it with 2 niches in addition to your chiro practice, right? I like decompression and then I like knee pain. Neuropathy is a great niche, but it's complicated. Add on top of that, another consulting company that they're selling, plans for 10 grand, and then they're sending people home with, they're doing home care, sending stuff home. Some doctors are saying they're getting good results. Some saying they're not. In my experience, that's not enough for a really sick diabetic, neuropathy patient, but that's just my opinion. So I'm not going to throw shade on what's going on over there. What I'm saying is in the marketplace, people are kind of getting wise to this, and they're not crazy about it, right? Because they can go buy anodyne, like a rebuilder and anodyne for $1,000 on their own or $1,500 on their own, and they don't have to pay 10 grand, right? Because they're not seeing the doctor, it's all at home. But my point is, you will have a better chance at getting to $100,000 a month if you add another niche. So you have your chiro, you have your niche number one, and you have niche number two. Now, why is that easier? It's because your chiropractic practice is, you're probably getting, if you're at 45K a month, then you're probably getting about 20 new patients a month, somewhere in that neighborhood. Sometimes it's 15, sometimes it's 25, sometimes it's 20. Point being is that flow is really important to feed the niches, right? Because some of those patients will be decompression patients. Some of those patients have knee pain, right? So what you do, and one of the easiest ways to grow revenue is to add a service to a successful business, right? So if you're Starbucks and you have all these people coming through your store, why not just sell, hey, now I'm going to start selling, mints, and now I'm going to start selling breakfast sandwiches, and now I'm going to start selling mugs. You have all this traffic. You've paid for all this traffic, all your advertising and all your work to get people coming through your business. Now you just start offering them other stuff. Now, you put that on steroids. Instead of selling them mugs, you're selling them a mug for $5. You're selling them a knee pain package for $5 grand. Okay. So you see how that can ramp up quickly. So now, if we're at 45-ish a month, and we can do now 20 with decompression. So if your care plan's $5 grand, then you just need 4 decompression patients and 4 knee patients. So now you're at $85,000, and you're, and then we'll talk about how do we get up a little further. So that's one way to give you a better chance at getting 100K a month. Next, and by the way, if you went to 5 decompression patients and 5 knee patients, now you are officially at, 100 grand, right? 50, 50, et cetera. Okay, increase advertising spend. Most doctors do not spend enough money on advertising. Okay, they don't. And I don't know why this is, because a lot of marketing agencies, they don't push their clients. They're trying to compete in a crowded marketplace on Facebook with $1,000 a month. In most markets, guys, that's like peeing in the wind. Like, I don't mean to be vulgar, but it's not doing you a lot of good. These Google, Facebook, these are auction sites. So it's like you're going to an auction, right? And you're bidding on a car, and it's a $30,000 car, and you're bidding $10,000. How much traction are you gonna get? Not very much. Is he gonna recognize you? He'll say, oh, yeah, 10,000. No, not, this is a $30,000 car. So point being is, when you are not competitive with what your ad spend is, Facebook will take your money. It will show your ad, but it will not show it as much as someone, like if you're spending $1,000 a month, it will not show your ad as much as someone that's spending $5,000 or $10,000 a month. And oh, by the way, your competition is not necessarily the chiropractor down the street advertising for decompression. It's anybody advertising on Facebook to your demographic, right? Because we're marketing to patients that are 30 to 60. Well, you know what? There's a whole lot of other companies and businesses that are advertising to people that between 30 and 60. You know what I'm saying? So you are competing with all of them. So if your budget is not strong enough, you will not be competitive. You will not get the eyeballs. You need the eyeballs. So you need to increase your advertising spend if you want to get to 100K a month. Now, you do need to optimize your systems, because if you do start increasing your advertising spend, and you're getting more leads coming in, and you're getting more consultations, and they come in and it's a crap show in the office. In other words, they have to wait too long. The doctor looks all harried. There's not enough staff. They're going to be like, wait, you want me to pay $5? Like, you don't even know what, like, it doesn't seem like you know what you're doing. Your office is not, it's not running efficiently. I had to wait. Like, your exam was kind of subpar, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, those systems, like your day 1, your day 2, they have to be optimized. Your exam has to be optimized. It has to be efficient. You have to look like a rock star. This is where you separate yourself, right? This is what we talked about at the summit. Like we had Dr. Pankin talk for an hour and a half just on how to do a world-class 10-minute exam, right? 10 minutes, world-class. Can you do that? If you can't, that's something that you need to shore up. You know, when patients come into your office, are they getting an extraordinary experience? Because if they're not, you need to make it so. You have to, if you want to make $1 million a year, like, in other words, we will not get what we do not deserve, right? You are rewarded in life and in business by the amount of value you put in the marketplace. If you put a subpar effort forward, you will get a subpar result. I didn't make up the rules. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So you must optimize all your systems, right? And the rule of 10% is until you hit your target revenue, you should be investing roughly 10% of your target revenue in ad spend. So let me say that again. Your target revenue, whatever you want that to be, you should be investing that in your ad spend, 10% of that in your ad spend. So if you want to do $100,000 a month, then you're going to need somewhere in the neighborhood of $10,000 a month. Okay, does that make sense? So now I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, hey, but I don't have to spend $5,000 a month to get to 50,000. It's because you have your referral base, but your referral base will never get you to 100 grand a month with niches, with doing what we're doing. You've got to supplement, and we're going to talk about marketing here in a second, a little more deeper, but you've got to supplement with paid media. Now, do you always have to be at 10%? No, but you have to be prepared to do it, and you have to ramp up and prepare to go to that number. Now, if you get to 100 grand a month, in other words, you're able to generate $50,000 in paid media with your niches. Now, do you have to spend 10,000 to get there? Probably not, right? Can you get there with 5? Maybe. But what I'm saying is most clinics are not spending enough. And so to sustain this, because you'll get other chiro patients out of your ad spend, right? Because not everyone that comes in is going to be a perfect candidate for decompression or knee pain or whatever, but you can maybe still help them with chiropractic. But my point is, use the rule of 10% and be prepared to invest in your advertising. Again, if you want to get to $100,000 a month, do you necessarily need to spend $10,000? Not necessarily, but over the long haul, to stay present in your marketplace, right? To stay competitive, you will need to spend significant, I think in all of our opinions, probably a significant amount of money per month, right? So at a minimum, if you want to generate 50,000 in decompression and say knee pain, you will need to spend a minimum of 5,000 a month, a minimum. Okay. So, and most likely a little bit more. And the reason why I'm saying there's a range there is because every market's a little bit different. If you're in a competitive market like LA, Dallas, Seattle, San Diego, you will need to spend 10 grand a month. If you're in a rural area, you can spend less, right? Dr. Pankinen. So when he started with me, where he was doing about $45,000 a month. Funny that we should mention that. This is exactly what the webinar is about. He puts about 5,000 a month in advertising, okay, between Google, Facebook, newspaper, and radio. And he's doing 100,000 a month now. He had 103, 111, 110. So but he's on the low side, right? He's in a very rural town of 800, draws from 50 miles around, right? So it's not that competitive. So that's what I'm saying. Use the rule of 10% as your guiding. If you're not hitting your numbers from paid media and you're only spending $1,000, it's not enough. And then finally, you're going to need to add staff. And we're going to talk about, what and who to add from a staff perspective, but you will need to add staff because you don't have enough hands to do everything. And you don't have enough brain power to do everything at 100K a month. If you did, you'd be there right now. Okay. So how to determine the staffing? So let's talk about staffing. How to determine the staffing you'll need at 100K a month. This is what a typical practice doing about 500,000, 400,000, 506. This is about what it is. One doctor, the owner, a receptionist, an office manager, and then like a tech or two, right? So this is a typical staff for a doctor that has a successful chiropractic practice is doing 30, 40,000 a month. And then he's got one niche, knee pain, neuropathy, decomp, and it's doing $10,000, $15,000 a month. One doctor, so he's doing everything. He's doing all the chiro exams, all the chiro treatment, all the niche exams, not all the niche treatment. Now, sometimes he's still putting people on the table, which is terrible, right? We want to use staff, systems, and technology to deliver patient care in the niches, right? So, but we have a receptionist usually, and it's usually a female, and she's picking up the phone, and she's not super trained up, and she's being paid $15 an hour, and she's giving you the results of a $15 an hour. She's not usually not going to seminars, but this was cool about the summit, right? Bunch of staff there getting trained up, and Holly Burkhart was training, and she was awesome. So you should definitely be at the next one with your staff, because it was great training. But anyway, so you have a receptionist up there, and she's not paid enough. You have an office manager. Now, in typical chiropractic office, an office manager started as a CA, or sometimes as a patient, and just knew how things worked, and did they have the skill sets of how to track stats, and how to run marketing, and how to train and manage staff, and how to coordinate with like your accounting company, and what I'm saying? No, typically not. So an office manager is typically just a CA, right? And then you have a tech or two. You have someone that's you've trained, now they know how to put patients on the table, etc., or to use the laser. Okay. This is typical. This is about 45,000 a month. Now, let's look at what you'll need at 100K a month. Okay. You will be the medical director. Okay. You're the owner, and you will focus your time and energy on the niches, right? Because they're providing significant revenue for the practice. You will have a fractional operations and finance director. Guys, this is the secret sauce. When I hired this individual, this type of person for my business, things radically changed, right? All of a sudden, we had projections, and we had quarterly leadership meetings, and we had, a yearly budget, and it just, all of a sudden it actually looks like a true business. I rarely have heard of a chiropractic having this type of role, but what I can tell you is in the bigger practices, like we just have a new group of clients signed up, Tangelo Health, like big, they have 3 clinics, and they're all doing, it's a 7-figure operation. They have someone like this, right? So the beauty of the fractional, though, is that you can find these people that they'll work on a fractional basis. That's why they're called a fractional operations finance director, because they're working for other companies, right? So they charge like $2,000 or $3,000 a month, but they're going to, budget out. They're going to manage operations. They're going to help you systemize your business properly. They have the training, they have the background, they have the skill sets, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I never thought it could run so smoothly. So that individual is crucial. And they professionalize your business. Then they will coordinate with your accounting team, right? So you'll know every single month exactly, like, do you look at your P&L? They'll actually go through it, and they'll show you and tell you what it means. And so you'll know if certain numbers are bad, where to focus your time and energy to fix the problem, right? Which levers to pull to increase net revenue. This is important because when you're operating at this higher level, you have more opportunity. So anyways, that individual is super important, and can help you and take a tremendous amount of stress off your plate, right? All of a sudden you don't have to worry about taxes because they're already built into the budget and taken out and paid, and you don't even have to worry about it. How cool is that? So, you actually get a true salary, and then you can have distributions and based on, the performance of the company and all this type of stuff. But everything it's like a well-oiled machine. You need that at that 100K level. An associate doctor. This doctor, now associates, there's a right way to have an associate and a wrong way, but we're not going to get into that. That's for another training. But the point being is, in a good associate doctor, they're going to handle all the exams for chiropractic, and they're going to do all the treatment for chiropractic, right? So, and I know you guys love to adjust, but the exams can be tiresome over time, right? You're like, oh my gosh, I got, 3 exams today. Point being is you need an associate doctor, and I'm going to tell you why in a second, but you need an associate doctor to handle that, take that off your plate so you can focus on the niches and be a true expert in disc recovery or chronic knee pain treatment, right? So you can just really focus there. Can you still treat patients that have seen you forever? Yes, 100%. But your main focus, right, is going to be on the niches so that when you sit down with a patient, hey, if this patient's a good candidate and we enroll them into care, that's going to be $5,000 to the bottom line. Next, receptionist. It's a receptionist, right? But someone that's actually trained, someone that tracks their stats, someone that knows how to lead a conversation on the phone so that when a patient calls, they can walk them through a mini consult, pre-qualify them, let them know that insurance doesn't pay for the niche services, but do it in a way that they don't hang up on them immediately, tracks their stats, and then gets bonused based on that, and they're paid decently, so they stay, right? That's an asset in a receptionist position. And then an office manager / case manager, or closer, if you want to call it that. I don't love the term, but I call it case manager, right? They're going to do the finances with the patient, so you don't have to do it. So in other words, like when we teach our ROF training, we have the front half, the transition, and the back half. Back half's finances. So you're in the ROF, you're going to do the front half, you're going to do the transition, and then you're going to hand off to your case manager to do the financial. And then you have about 3 full-time techs, right? So if you're doing decompression and knee, you have one tech can do 2 decompression tables, right? So 2 decompression tables can get you to, plenty of money. Point being is, now if you're going to go to say 3 tables is kind of weird, right? Because you need 2 techs for 3 tables. If you have a really good tech, they maybe could do all 3, but we had 4 tables and we needed 2 techs, right? Not 4, 2, just 2. But for the lasers, we needed 1 per laser. So, and we had 4 lasers. So you're going to need 3 full-time techs, because what you're going to have is 2 tables, 2 lasers, and then maybe a shockwave. Okay, so 3 full-time, gosh, why do I keep doing that? 3, it was a long day of traveling. 3 full-time techs. I call this practice nirvana. Why? Because now you can go on vacation and not pay for it twice. Because now when you leave and you go to the Bahamas for a week or 2 weeks, the clinic stays open, right? All the chiropractic patients continue to get care. The niche patients continue to come in. They're just evaluated by the associate, and then they're handed off to the case manager. Now, will revenue dip a little bit? Probably. But will it go to 0? 100% not, right? And so now you can go on vacation and enjoy yourself, right? This is practice nirvana. Now, can you walk away indefinitely? Maybe, probably not. Probably not. I think it's still going to be reliant on having a medical director, someone that's steering the ship on a regular basis. Now, could you cut it down to 2-3 days a week? Yeah, 100%. 100%. So this is what a staff looks like. And I think you would probably, if it's done right, then you should probably have around $20,000 to $30,000 in free cash flow after you're paid. Okay? Does that make sense? So you get your salary, you figure out what $10,000, $15,000 a month, whatever you need. And then, you're paying all these people properly, and you should have about $20,000 to $30,000 in free cash flow each month at $100K a month. Okay. So that's your staffing for $100K a month. Now let's talk marketing. Any questions? I can't see. This is really frustrating. Let's see. Anyone in the chat? No one in the chat. Any questions? Okay, moving on. Quiet group today. All right. Hey, no big deal. Let's talk marketing. How do we create a comprehensive marketing strategy that consistently generates high quality and high value new cash patients? Well, we got to be thinking stability through diversity. Okay, stability through diversity. What do I mean by that? Think about if you were going deep sea fishing. Okay. Now you're going to get this big fancy boat. You're going to go out 20 miles. You're going to, wake up early. You're going to, pack all this, bait and blah, 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 blah. Would you go out there and throw one line in the water? Probably not, right? You would probably say, well, shoot, shouldn't we put as many lines as we can get in the water? Yes, you would. And that would be a smart thing. Same thing for marketing. We want as many poles in the water as possible, right? Now, to simplify it, let's use the 25% rule. 4 key new patient streams is what you should be focusing on. Okay, so let's look at those individually. So 25% should come from paid online media: Google, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Okay, Google, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Now, should you be using all those? Yeah, you should, because Facebook is super competitive. Leads tend to not be of great quality unless you really put them through a significant kind of sifting and sorting process, which is what we do. But still, Google's always going to have higher quality leads because people are actually searching for us, right? So there's 2 types of advertising. There's push advertising, right? So that's Facebook and Instagram. We're pushing our message in front of people. They're not looking for us. They're just on social media dinking around. And then all of a sudden, boom, they see our ad. That's push advertising. Pull advertising is Google and YouTube, because people are searching, right? They are searching for back pain treatment or spinal decompression near me, or chronic knee pain treatment, or whatever they're searching for. They're actually searching for it. That's why they're better quality. Now, do you have to pay more for them? Yeah, you do. But like we have Dr. Shane Stanley's in Michigan, and he went through 5 agencies. They all did Facebook. I don't understand why all these agencies don't only do Facebook. Anyways, 5 agencies, all they did with Facebook, none of them worked. Started with me, right? And he said, are you going to do Facebook again? I'm like, no, heck no, I'm not going to do Facebook again. I mean, look, are all these agencies terrible? No. Are they all great? No. But out of 5, I figured some of them are probably pretty decent, right? So I'm not going to go try to reinvent that wheel. What I am going to do is go to Google, because I love it. And now he's cranking 1 to 2, 3 new patient starts a week, and not even that much, like 2, maybe 2,500 a month. And we are ramping up, right? Continually ramping up. Someone raised their hand. Andrew raised his hand. I got it. There it is. Andrew, if you have a question, I don't know how to answer your raised hand. Just put it in the chat. Whatever question you have, just put it in the chat. So 25% is going to come from paid online media. Okay. 25% is going to come from referrals. Okay. So you should be getting, so let's say we want 10 new starts a month, right? Okay. 10 decompression. Say we're doing decompression and knee. So we want 10, 2.5, new starts. Wait, what am I saying? 2.5. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Point being, 10 new patients a month. So we want 2.5 from paid online media, 2.5 from referrals, 2.5 from SEO, and 2.5 from some type of community sponsorship. Now, that doesn't seem so hard now, right? So, I only need 2 to 3 new patients from my paid online media. Oh, that's not bad. I can do that. I have the chat disabled. Oh, well, what the heck is, why is the chat disabled? Hold on. Oops. Thank you for telling me that. I'm not seeing where I can enable the chat. Let's see. Show chat previews. Andrew's a rock star here. He's telling me how to do this. Attendees can chat with no one, hosts and everyone. Okay. All right, we're good. We should be good. Andrew, check that, will you? And let me know. Boom. There we go. Gosh, I've been using Zoom for years. I can't believe that's such a rookie mistake. Sorry about that. Okay, so now the chat is enabled. Now I know why no one was saying, yes, I'm here. Yes, I have a question. Okay, so use the chat if you have any questions. Where the heck was I? Okay, we want 10 new starts, right? So 10 new starts. We're getting 2 to 3 from Google, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. We're getting 2 to 3 from referrals. So guys, if you're getting, say, 20 new patients, like chiro patients a month, 10 to 20% of those are disc patients. Now, whether you're able to recognize them, evaluate them, and enroll them into a decompression plan is a totally different story. But in my experience, both in practice and now with consulting, about 10 to 20% of all chiro patients are a disc patient, especially if you're doing PI, right? That's the number one cause of disc is trauma, right? MVA. So referrals, you should get 2 to 3 into your niches from your referrals. And now when I say referrals, I'm also referring to your past patient base, right? So you should be communicating with your current patients and your past patients via email, social media, like on a regular basis, right? Sharing good, valuable information about what you do. SEO and reviews. We covered this at, by the way, Andrew, the image, I can't see the image for whatever reason. Oh, there it is. Yeah. All right. Thank you. So SEO and reviews, we covered this at the Decompression Summit. How do we get more reviews? My challenge to everyone at the summit was 1,000 Google reviews. Now you may be like, holy cow, I only have like 100 or 200. How can I get to 1,000? Well, we talked about a very simple way. You're not able to do this in all states, right? Because we're using an inducement, $25 gift card. You get a little sign that sits on the front desk and it says, all Google reviews get a $25 gift card. And so you have a little QR code. They shoot it with their phone and then they can write a review right there. Okay. So that's a really easy way to get reviews. But between SEO and reviews, you should be able to get 2 to 3 starts, right? So you want to build up your SEO, you want to build up your reviews. And now, why did I pick the number 1,000? Because I have a client in Florida and he has 900 4- and 5-star reviews. You know how many new patients he gets every single month? 50. Do you know how much marketing he does? None. So guys, it's an asset. If you can build up your reviews, right? Positive Google reviews up to 1,000 or at the bare minimum 500, you will start to get patients from that because it's social proof. Question here. We got someone in the chat. Did it, and 10 reviews from the desk stand since. Oh, nice job, Dr. Chris. So Dr. Chris Cameron, new client, was at the summit, and he gosh, he actually did what I recommended. So it works. It's just super simple. By the way, you can also use that for referrals. And what I would do is, so don't do it the same place. It's like one offer in one place. So on the front desk, use the little, and by the way, if you're like, what is this little sign you're talking about? Just Google QR code stand, like referrals or something like that. And it'll show you there's all these vendors that will sell you it for like $30, right? So they'll put a link to your Google My Business on this little stand. You can have it say whatever you want. And then when they shoot that, it'll take them to a Google to write a review for your business. If you want more referrals, and sorry, so when they give you a positive Google review, you give them a $25 Amazon gift card. So we said, okay, well, what are the metrics here? I want to make sure we're on time. So what are the metrics? What if you give out, if we're going to get to 1,000 Google reviews, that would be $25,000. If each patient, so what I taught was, hey, set a 3-year goal, $25,000 invested over 3 years, 5 patients pays for it. Do you think you can get 5 patients from all these reviews? Yes, of course you would. So with referrals, you can, same thing. Hey, we love referrals. $25 Amazon gift card for every referral you send in. Now you want to track it, obviously, have your front desk track it. Okay, Joe Bob sent and Sue Smith and blah, blah, blah. But anyways, so you can start to generate more referrals that way. I would, again, have it on the wall, framed nicely, have a designer do it. Like, don't put cheap stuff on the wall. Never put anything on your walls that is not framed, by the way. That's like an old rule. Andrew says, we use high level, and when we place them in the right column, it sends them a review link. Yeah, 100%. We use high level for all our stuff too. So anyways, SEO and reviews. And then finally, community sponsorship, right? So what we're trying, again, stability through diversity. How can we, and who can we partner with in the community that would make sense for our ideal patient, right? Is it like Dr. James is sponsoring the golf course? You could sponsor the golf course. You could sponsor the YMCA. You could sponsor the BNI. I mean, like, guys, you want to be involved in your community. You want to meet other business owners, right? That is going to, if you meet and develop relationships with other good business owners, other people that are like, they're doing well in businesses also, then they will start to, hey, what do you do? And you can develop relationships, what are called JVs in the online community, where, we have one guy that sells marketing and one guy that sells, speaking gigs, and then they'll email their list for each other. It's called a JV partnership. It's the same thing. And it's an old business thing. But the point being is, if you can get and develop relationships in your community with other business owners, you have access to their patient base or their customer base, right? So dentists, just go down the list. It doesn't have to be healthcare, right? It could, again, it can be any business that caters to your ideal patient. Now, who's not an ideal partner? Someone that runs a jungle gym, right? Unless you want to, for kids, like jungle gym is a kid's little, dink around gym. If you want to treat kids, yeah, that would be a good partnership, but not for if you want to do decompression, right? Or chronic knee pain, because that's 40, 50, 60-year-old people. So you want to find another business, and ideally multiple other businesses that have that ideal kind of customer base. And then you develop relationships. Now, is this going to happen next week? No, but you guys are, you're going to be in business for the next 10, 20 years, right? So you want to set yourself up, start thinking, 1, 3, 10 years down the road. What the decisions I make now, what impact will it have in 3 years or in 10 years? Now, if you got 1,000 Google reviews for your business, when you go to sell your business in 10 years and still everyone is dinking around at, 100 or 200 reviews and you have 1,000, don't you think that sets you apart in terms of like an asset for your business? Yes. So does a niche. So does consistent marketing. So does having a fractional CFO. This is why we're talking about this, because we want to actually create a business. Right now, most chiropractors own a job. A high-paying job, typically, if you're doing 45, 50,000 a month, you're doing pretty well, right? So that's a high-paying job. But if you don't show up, the money stops flowing. So what we're trying to do is create a business that if you don't show up, it continues to operate, right? At least without going to zero. Maybe it won't be as high if you're not there, but it will give you a tremendous amount of freedom, right? Versus probably what you are now. So that's the marketing strategy. All right. Next, moving on. Let's talk about the 3 biggest mistakes doctors make when scaling to 100 grand a month. And then we're going to wrap up. 1, trying to figure it out on your own. Guys, it's like, it's like you want to learn golf. So you're going to go buy a bunch of clubs, spend a bunch of money on clubs. You're going to buy some balls and you're going to go whack at that thing for hours and hours on the driving range. And maybe at some point you will start to hit it and hit it straight and hit it far. Versus if you hire a coach, right, that is going to show you, hey, this is where your feet go. This is where the ball goes in your stance. This is how you grip the club. This is where you want to be in this part of your swing. This is where you want to hit the ball in the club face. This is how far a 5-iron should go. This is, do you know what I'm saying? You see the difference? So now instead of trying to figure it out, you just have to master it. You're just like, oh, so this is what I need to do for that. Boom. Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work on my grip. Now I know what the grip looks like. Now I'm going to work on it and get comfortable with it. So when you're trying to be in the top 1%, the chances of you doing that, trying to figure it out on your own, will you get there eventually? Maybe. Will you get there quicker if you follow a proven model? 100%. You will get there faster if you follow a proven model. And there's plenty of people, obviously I teach this, and there's other, companies out there that teach decompression and how to do it and all that type of stuff. But my point is, it's like, if you try to figure it out on your own, it's going to take more time. It's going to be more expensive, and it'll be more frustrating for sure. Versus if, you have someone in your corner that is giving you the roadmap, right? And you just follow it, and you just, as long as you implement, right? I mean, just because you buy the roadmap doesn't mean that your practice goes to 100K a month. No, you got to actually do the work. And by the way, if like anyone trying to sell you guys an easy button, like, hey, you just, push this button and your practice is automated and money falls from the sky, I promise you it doesn't work. It's a really good way to market to people, right? Because it's like easy money, but in my experience, you got to work for it. And that's, now maybe there's another experience, but everyone I've talked to that has made lots of money and had successful businesses, not just chiropractic businesses, but construction businesses and paving businesses and online, other types of online businesses, they've all worked really hard. Now, were they able to delegate and hire in people to take over different tasks so they could do less of that busy work? Yeah, 100%. That's called scaling up. That's called growth. We talked about that with the team members. You hire those team members to take those low value activities off your plate so you can focus on your highest value activities, right? Highest value activities, generating new patient consultations, evaluating new patient consultations, and enrolling new patient consultations. If you can focus on those three things and not turning on the lights and paying the bills and training the staff and adjusting patients all day for $20, and you can focus on these three things, you will grow and you will be less run down and less frustrated. So that's mistake number one. Mistake number two is not building the proper team. If you're going to try to do this all, guys, all on your own, you'll be so frustrated and you'll be overwhelmed, and you probably won't get there. I mean, I'm the guy that's going to tell you the truth, right? Now, that doesn't always serve me from a business perspective, because some people just want to hear, lollipops and unicorns, but I'm going to tell you the truth. If you don't build the proper team, you will not get to $1 million practice and sustain it. You have got to have a team. You've got to be able to focus on those highest value activities. You've got to have your systems dialed in. You've got to have your finances dialed in. You've got to have your marketing dialed in. You have to have patient care dialed in. You have to have protocols that deliver excellent results. Like, all those things need to be taken care of, but they don't all need to be taken care of by you. Because you're the owner, you need to recognize what needs to be done and then find, it's the who, not how, right? There's a great book, I highly recommend it, by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Ben Hardy. It's called Who, Not How. And it's like, hey, it's not how can I do this? It's who can I get to do this activity, right? Okay, so that's mistake number two, not building the proper team. And three, not investing enough into marketing. So we talked about this, and this is just, I have to state it because it happens so much. I just hear doctors like, I'm so frustrated with this Facebook agency. Okay, what's your ad spend? $1,500 a month. Oh my gosh, $1,500 a month, and you're in Dallas. Are you serious? Do you know how many people are advertising at $1,500 a month? It's just, you're just not competitive enough. At the bare minimum, double it. Triple it. Tell your agency, hey, I don't care. Spend $5,000 this month. I just want to see what happens. Take a risk on $3,500 extra. Who cares? You won't miss it in a year. But you may get 4 extra new patients at $5,000 each. And all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I put in $5,000. I just got $20,000 in revenue. Can I do this again? And how many times can I do it? What if I put in $7,000? Do I get 7 new patients or 8 new patients? And now I'm at 40,000, 30,000, 35,000, whatever. So you need to take a risk there. Now, if the company doesn't know what the heck they're doing, then that's a different story. But my point is, if you're doing what everybody else is doing and just investing what everyone else is investing, $1,500 a month, probably going to get what everyone else is getting, which is not very much. All right. So does that make sense? Anybody have any questions? So let's look at some doctors. We love Dr. Pankin. So Dr. Pankin, when he started with me, he was doing 45,000, I think 45,000 a month, 48,000, something like that. And did he do it overnight? No. It took him a couple of years to get there, but now he's doing 100,000 a month. Dr. Karami, look at this, 10K, because she does knee and decompression combos. Dr. Abrams, he's all cash, no insurance. And when he first started with me, so he's going into year 3 now. When he first started with me, he was doing $30,000. And then in 8 months, he went up to $90,000. Now, he has since pulled back because he wanted to pull back. He was at a frenetic pace. So he didn't want to go that hard and that fast. So he's still at like $80,000. Anyways, crushing it. So if this is something that you want help with, okay, guys, now I'm going to tell you what I do. I'm going to offer you my services. Now, here's what's interesting is if you don't, I just remember my dad, he's a chiropractor, been a chiropractor for 50 years, talks chiropractic with anybody, right? Anybody and everybody, anyone that will listen to him. But you know what? Always had a big practice. So if you don't feel confident talking about your services, then there's an issue there, right? Either you don't feel like you can deliver the results or you don't like what you do. Now, I can't help you if you don't like what you do. I can help you if you don't think you can deliver the results, because we have proven protocols that kick butt and deliver outstanding clinical outcomes. But I know that we deliver outstanding results for our clients. So I don't consider this selling. I'm going to offer you, I'm going to tell you about my services because I believe in it, right? Our doctors average at least $20,000, $30,000 a month. So, and some much more, right? So let's talk about it. Let's talk about what I do. I call it the Platinum Program. I offered this at the summit. It covers everything you need. Systems, right? Your day 1, your day 2, your ROF, your phone, your staff training, all your systems covered. And by the way, there's not 50 systems, right? You really only need about 3 or 4 good systems and you're dialed. Then you just got to, hone them and optimize them. 2, clinical. If we're going to ask someone for $5,000, man, we've got to deliver results. We have to. And by the way, our protocols deliver excellent results. Dr. Pankin tracks every single patient he's had since the past 5 years. So we have all the data. Our protocols are awesome. So we have all the clinical stuff and we have, weekly calls with Dr. Pankin. We have weekly calls with me. So you guys have all the support you need. Marketing. We'll run all your paid advertising. Right? Remember, full-fledged agency, all the coaching. So everything, it's all under one roof. We're not going to refer you out to some agency and then get a kickback or anything like that. It's our agency and we focus on this. I actually write the ads myself. Coaching, right? I'm going to coach you up because this is what I did. I know how to do it and I'm giving you the roadmap, right? So this is the whole thing is do you want to figure it out on your own or do you want a coach to give you the roadmap of how to do it properly? Did I have a coach? Yeah, I've had 4 coaches. We had a coach for decompression, but then I think he passed away, but he had everything on discs. And so we just studied those and was it awesome? No. Did it work? It helped. We figured a lot out. Sometimes it felt like we were running through a forest with a blindfold on, we got beat up a little bit. But when I started my consulting company back in 2016, I just started thinking well, look, if I was starting from square one and I wanted to get to where we're at now, what would I need? Literally step by step, what would I need? And that's how I built the coaching program. So you get coaching and staff training, right? Just like we talked about, what staff do you need? What roles do they need to play? What training do they need so that they can support you properly? It's all included. And then accountability, right? So not only accountability with me, your coach, but accountability with our group, right? And you'll develop relationships with other doctors in the group, right? And you come to our summit, and that's going to be a regular thing for us. Accountability. is important, right? It's one thing for us to say, okay, I'm going to do this. It's another thing when we tell someone else, I'm going to do this. Big deal. So this is what it includes. So 1 year, it's a 1-year program, 1 year elite mentorship, our holistic digital advertising suite. In other words, we do all the online paid media platforms, the AIM protocol integration. So the AIM protocol is something that I created, the Artificial Intelligence Marketing Matrix. That's what AIM stands for. And this is a new and unique way that we're using Facebook that saturates our community with our message with high value information so that we can position ourselves as an expert. No one else is doing it. Our educational assets, right? So these pre-consultation videos, pre-report of findings videos, webinars, all types of stuff so that you can educate patients before they come in or after day 1. We have our weekly live Zooms, one on Tuesday, one on Thursday. Tuesday is clinical, Thursday is practice building webinars, doctor reports. You always have your support. You always have access. We have a client manager that's available. Now, is it around the clock, like 24 hours? No, don't call them in the middle of the night. Staff training, ethical sales and persuasion training. So our ROF training is awesome and it'll get you to 50%. If you want to go to 60, 70, 80%, it's possible, but you need to really be good. And we have the training for that. Advanced marketing tools. So we have newspaper ads, radio ads, Facebook ads, all of that available for you. Mindset coaching. We have a whole module just on mindset because it's something that I really dig and it's interesting to me. So I read a lot, I consume a lot of information on the topic, and then I turn around and give it to you guys. Our daily mindset journal so that you can set goals and set yourself and keep yourself accountable. Our private community. If you wanted to go to do radio or TV or newspaper, we can help you with that because I've done it. ROI tracking, of course, we have stat tracking for all the key stats, right? We don't inundate our doctors with like a million stats. We just, 4 to 5 stats is all you need to track, but most doctors aren't even doing that. How to market to your internal patient base. How do you do an effective email campaign, social media, postcards, mailers, all that type of stuff. Some of that old school stuff still works. Email marketing still works. That's how you guys got here to the webinar. You're on my email list. I try to email every single week. Sometimes I miss, but most of the time I'm emailing every single week, some type of value. And then once in a while, I'll host a webinar. We optimize your care plan, right? So when doctors come on board, we always, we have a 30-day onboarding, right? So we're going to do fast start consultation. So that's a one-on-one call with me, right? And we are going to do a lot of things. Where are you at now? Where do you want to be in 12 months, right? But part of that is optimizing your care plan and price point for you and for your city. Advertising assets, talked about that before, one-on-one consulting. So at the end of each month, we're going to look back at just one-on-one, you and I, accountability too, but we're going to look past 30 days, what went right, what went wrong, what can we do better, and then plan for the next 30 days. And then again, our client concierge. So in bonuses alone, it's 37K. So what would it be worth if I could help you get to 100,000 a month? So if you're at 50,000 a month now, that would be an extra $600,000 over the next 12 months in cash, right? So if I charged $100,000, which I'm not, but some people do, AMI is pretty close to 100 grand. It's 85 grand. There's another one. What is their name? They charge $150,000. Practice Masters. Anyways, there's people charging that, right? But that would be a 6-to-1 ROI. If I charge $60,000, that would be a 10-to-1 ROI. Remember, we're doing all your marketing, all your coaching, everything. So for this, we're doing $3,500 a month or $35,000. You can do a one-time payment of $35K for the whole 12 months, right? Or $3,500 a month. It does not include your ad spend, okay? Because a lot of doctors ask that. It does not include your ad spend. That is covering your agency fee. That is covering your coaching. That's covering your one-on-one, okay? It's our platinum program. It's our top tier program. And the reason why I created this program, because I looked at the doctors that are doing the best, like Dr. Pankinen, and that's what they're doing. So I wanted to offer what the doctors need the most. Now, if you said, well, gosh, Dr. Vince, I have an agency and they're working great, can we break this up? Yeah, jump on a call, we'll figure it out. But if not, then this is the plan for you. This is going to expire. You always have a little urgency, scarcity. So that's going to expire next Friday at 2. We have 2 guarantees. One, in the first 30 days, right? So in the first 30 days, you're going to have a call with me. You're going to have a call with Dr. Pankinen. You're going to get what we call our Creating Wealth game plan. You're going to get integrated into the training platform, integrated into the Facebook group. You'll get on a couple calls, and you'll have your first 30-day call with me. If at 30 days you are not happy for any reason whatsoever, you just let me know and we'll part ways. I'll tear up the contract. I'll refund any money that you invested, and we part as friends. No harm, no foul. Guarantee number 2. I don't know anyone doing this, guys, but I feel very confident. If after 12 months you have not tripled your investment in our program, does not include advertising spend, it includes what you've invested in specialized practice, we will continue to work for free until you do. Okay. So just to give you a rough number, say you wrote a check for $35K for the whole year. If you don't, what is 35K times 3? I think it's 105,000. So if you don't get to 105,000 within 12 months, we're going to keep working until you do, for free. All right. So we only have the capacity to properly onboard 5 new clients each month right now. I just hired a bunch of people, not a bunch. I mean, we have a team of about, 5 or 6. But that's what we can do right now. And oh, by the way, we have 4 clients at the start of this month. So we have 1 to 2 left for this month. So if this is something you're interested in, highly recommend go here, drvincecalendar.com, and you are going to fill out an application, find a time on my schedule, and then we will jump on a discovery call and we'll figure out if it is a good fit for us. Bonuses. If you, thank you. If you're still here, thank you so much. Email me, support@drvinceleone.com, and then put in the subject line webinar bonuses, and then I will send you those 3 books for free. All right, so guys, that is it. I hope this was helpful for you, right? There will be a replay. So if there's some information on here that you wanted to go back and look at, a replay will be available for you. If you're interested in the coaching in the Platinum program, go to drvincecalendar.com and get signed up for a discovery call. I'm going to do a last call for questions here. Going once, going twice. Okay, so thank you all for joining us. I really appreciate your time. I know it's kind of an odd time, but you just never know where one piece of information can make the difference in your practice and in the next 3 to 10 years. I mean, you just never know, right? One piece, one lever that you pull could change your practice forever. So I love doing this. I love teaching. I love coaching. I hope that has come across, and I hope this has been helpful for you. Tell a friend, and because I want to help as many doctors as possible add and grow these high ticket niches. So that's it. I'm Dr. Vince Leone from Specialized Practice. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next month on our next Express webinar. Take care.